5. Oh, it's the countdown. No. Hello. Salamat Idul Fitri. Eid al Fitr. Or Eid Mubarak. Or whatever you want to call it. By various names throughout the Islamic world. End of Ramadan. And I am Joko. And I am not a Muslim. But blessing to you on this holy day. Okay, we are here to look at the essay of Mr. Ibrahim Amadeus Ricky, who's done a whole bunch of task ones, and I think I read a task 2 of his before, but I don't remember. Let's see how he does on the task 2. Of course, where do I find it? Oh, what's this? What's on my face? Yes. I used to see my girlfriend do these face mask things. It's a face mask. It's meant to make your skin look better. Well, in 5 days, I turned 50. And so I've started to pay attention to things like skincare. And, what is this? I don't know. She would wear one of these, and when she took it off, her face was glowing. In her 20s. And, finally, they sell them now, and they got men on the packaging, so it's okay for us to use them. Let's see here. It's been at least 15 minutes. Let's take it off. Allah Akbar. Look at my face. Alright, so what do we got? Okay, so here we are again. Back to the essay. And the code up here that you see is the one I use, color coding. It's very old. I'm paraphrasing the band descriptors and what they do. I need to rewrite it because they're not complete enough. But here's our question. Some people say history is one of the most important school subjects. Other people think that, in today's world, subjects like science and technology, subjects, plural, are more important than history. Okay, now, when you analyze the question, discuss both views and give your own opinion. Alright, so now, with this type of question, you really have to think about, you ask your WH questions twice. Who are we talking about? What do they believe? What is their view? Where do they live? When are we talking about, exclusions? You do this twice. And so if we go through this example, there's some people, that's who. Where are they? Anywhere. Okay, what do they believe? They believe that history is one of the most important school subjects. Okay? They're history fans. I count myself as one of those. Is it important in school? Well, other people think that in today's world, subjects like science and technology are more important than history. Now, are these two things, are they opposing beliefs? Yeah? What do you think? Are they opposite? Do they necessarily disagree with one another? My underlining will probably help you there because that's the key word. Keywords here. Some people say that history is one of the most important. One of the means how many? Well, it's not defined, but 3 at least, not 2. Science and technology could be viewed as more important. The second one at least says that these two, science and technology, are more important. Okay, that we can put our teeth into. Our essay will be read today.
Opinions vary as to whether science and technology are more crucial or history should be given priority nowadays in the school curriculum. In my opinion, both are equally important and should be prioritized simultaneously.
Okay, good. Pause. I don't know if this music is too loud. bananas, do something with the fruit. And... Eid. I guess it's about the Eid. This didn't happen in Jakarta. Gangnam Style. Okay, that was fun. That was the total beat to Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. No. Well, where's my thing? Let's go find my camera. Yeah. Let's get rid of all this. Just move this out of the way. You know. Okay, as a first sentence, I like it. Opinions vary. That's a good, it's not over the top. Like, there's never been a more important. Anyway, it's good. Now, the rest of it, though, as to whether science, whether or not, whether or not. So we need an or. Right? Whether science and technology are more crucial or history should be given priorities nowadays. See, you've got, I think I spoke with you before about some higher grammar structures like parallelism. Or divides two structures. Those two structures need to have the same structure themselves to make it easier to understand. So the first part is science and technology are more crucial. Second part is something should be given. So you've got a straight, simple sentence. Blank is blank. Next to object, modal verb, passive. No. Whether science and technology are more crucial or history. science and technology or history are more crucial. Ta-da! Or, again, the way you set it up, whether it's science, technology, no, it should be like this. It should be as to whether history should be considered as crucial as science and technology. Because with that more in there, with that more crucial, I'm expecting a than to appear at some point. Than, more crucial than history. Okay, but you've set it up with the whether, so you need the or. And also, crucial is an extreme adjective, right? You probably are aware of this. Extreme adjectives. It means very important. And extreme adjectives rarely go with comparatives, like more, right? Or it has its own comparatives. Or, it's just if something is crucial or it's not crucial. So it's not gradable very much. It does very poor collocation. Okay, are of more significance. That would be fine there. Are of more importance. If you say importance with the noun form, you're not repeating the question. That says important. Okay, or history should be given priority nowadays in the school curriculum. Priority over science and technology? That's what it sounds like you're saying. But of course the question doesn't say that at all. So red indicates misunderstanding the question, or possibly misunderstanding the question. Because give priority, good collocation, but don't let your need to use certain words and phrases override your understanding of the question. Should history be given priority over science and technology? No, you don't think that. It's nowhere in the question. No one's suggesting it. But the way you're writing it leaves it ambiguous. All three are equally important and should be prioritized similarly. Similarly. That's the one you want. Prioritized simultaneously doesn't collocate. You could say prioritized at the same time. But simultaneously means happens at the same time, not exists at the same time. Okay, all right. So now we go straight into on the one hand. Okay, now blue, coherence and cohesion, I also use for register. Okay, and that's academic tone. Moving forward is one of my boss's pet peeves. And all the other executives say, moving forward, we're going to do this. Moving forward, moving forward. And it's really kind of a business English thing. History contains important lessons for moving forward. It's not clear what you mean. But you have a topic sentence. History contains lessons. All right. To some people, history is the past. I think we all agree. History, it's in the past. History is the past. And there is no way to gain knowledge by learning. Once again, awkward. Gain knowledge by learning. Well, how else are you going to gain knowledge? You always gain knowledge by learning. It doesn't just, you can't buy it. So it's repetitive. Gain knowledge by learning. Oh, by learning. Okay, here we go. There is no way to gain knowledge. Wisdom? You mean wisdom? To gain knowledge by learning what happened in the past. But by definition, when you learn what happened in the past, you are gaining knowledge of what happened in the past. So no, what you want to say there is wisdom or prudent. Not knowledge. But if. Okay, now if you were shooting for a 7.5, as you say, 7 plus, you need to get your hands around and understand how to use the conditionals. Dun, dun, dun. Look in your grammar book. Lots and lots of online examples of also the use of conditionals. Okay? On the one hand, if but, don't start a sentence with but. If a country failed in the past, okay? If a country failed in the past, that's my if clause. All right? It's an unreal condition. Well, okay. If a country failed in the past and do not learn, if a country failed in the past and did not learn, yeah, didn't. That's a real conditional now, right? If you want to say it happens all the time, a zero conditional, of course, now we have a country, and it should be does. Did not learn lessons from it, then it becomes impossible. Now, by definition, if something if it's impossible, it's unreal. Unreal conditionals use would, right? Then it would be impossible for that country to compete in the future world. The future. Don't need future world. Okay, why impossible? That's a pretty big statement. If you don't learn from the past, it will be impossible for you to compete. Really. Explain. Oh, excuse me. China rejected their past. They threw away their history. Well, no, certainly during large parts of the communist regime, the past is the past. We don't learn from it. History shows how, okay, then it becomes impossible. All right, are you going to back this up? Okay, and here's what's weird. Is you start this sentence with, history contains important lessons for people to move forward. Okay, so we're going to talk about the reasons why some people think that history is an important subject. But no, what you take is down the negative path, which is, okay, so to summarize, history contains lessons. Some people think history doesn't contain lessons. You can see how that immediately goes against your topic sentence? Okay, history shows, now we're going back to the topic. History shows how one should behave. One. One what? One country? Usually one is a person if there's no other. If it's country, I understand, but now you're going into individuals where you were talking about countries. And it shows how one should behave to succeed. Okay, and how one should behave in order to succeed, and history contains. Yeah, that's really, really awkward there. You can only leave out history. How history shows how one should behave to succeed, and contains the culture and tradition of a nation that helps it reshape its future. Oh, it's just so awkward. It helps it, okay, that's nation, reshape its future. You can't reshape the future. You can reshape perceptions of the future, but reshape means to shape again, and it hasn't happened yet. So you can't do it again, to shape its future. Okay, now, we've been talking about how countries don't learn from their lessons. And we had one sentence of that. And the UK is going to show us how it used its past to shape its future. For example, the UK, for example, has a glorious past and has become one of the advanced countries in the world nowadays. One of the is not needed unless you're talking about very few. One of the most important. One of the advanced nations. There's only like 75 of them. Okay. Okay, this has become possible. This was made possible because they widely recognize their scholars who have contributed to their history. Nothing to do with history, now does it? They just contribute. They're scholars. Scholars includes people who study everything. So the example doesn't relate to your topic sentence. It is not an example of a country that didn't do what you suggested. And yes, it has a glorious past, but so do a lot of other countries. All right. On the other hand, I knew it was coming up. On the other hand, some argue, how about others argue? Some argue that school should give more importance to a subject like science and technology. Oh yeah, to a subject like science and technology. To subjects like science and technology. Compared to history. Okay? Yeah, so you can't say it should give more importance. Give more importance is more importance than. Okay, no, importance is a noun. More is referring to the quantity. So it's not an adjective. It doesn't take than. Innovation. Okay, so that's our topic sentence. Okay? School. Innovation is considered to be the cornerstone of a country's development. What is all this talk about countries? Excuse me, a country's development and growth and children. What? That comma is like, wait, blow me up here. It is considered a cornerstone of a country's development and growth. What's the difference? Comma. And children, if has scope of learning, if children have the scope of learning technological aspects in childhood, no, can become, then or they can become innovative in the future. What does that have to do with school? Science teaches them to know the unknown. No, it wouldn't be unknown anymore if it was known. To make discoveries. How about that? And look beyond traditional ways of solving the problems. Not very many, but you got your grammar mistakes. You don't use the with a plural noun when speaking in general. This example. One of my school friends, comma, I don't know why that green is there, who took science as his major subject when we were in secondary school. Really? You can take something, I guess, in some countries, yes, science in high school, is now working as a scientist at NASA and contributing hugely to taking the world forward. Move forward. Well, that example is not good for your points either. Why not? Well, it helps the country. It helps the country. It helps the country. Oh, it helps the world. Okay? That's what your example is. In conclusion, it can be said, so many passive constructions. It can be said that although science technologies shape, not shapes, the future, history should also be not forgotten, not be forgotten, as they both can, all three can determine a nation's way forward. Back to nations again. There's nothing in there about school in your conclusion. and the topic, which is that, history and science are more important. Not really, in school. In school. That's where we're at. All right. Ibrahim, that is that. Once again, your use of the language is fine. I mean, you're having no problems putting together complex structures. You're just choosing the wrong words in your, be aware of collocation, and don't use a word just because you know it and you think it might work. More often than not, people do not impress the examiners. They get them pissed off, and you lower your marks. Okay, that's it. Salamat Idul Fitri.